you had a great time with the South African director, and I'm sure this is going to be a huge success. But there's another connection with you, Kobus, and that is Gary Costin. So can you just simply tell us about like how this friendship happened and what exactly was the connection which you have with Gary?
Yeah, I'm giving my age away here. I played a lot of cricket in Cape Town and in Derbyshire. I played for a club as a cricket pro in Derbyshire in the 80s. And I played with his older brother, Peter Kirsten, which Gary will probably shoot me for this, but to this day, I believe Peter was a better cricketer. If he had, I've never seen a guy with that much natural talent than Peter Kirsten. Unfortunately, I only played 4 tests because that was during the time of South Africa's cricket isolation. But I played with Peter, and I met a young Gary in those days. Their father was actually the groundsman, Noel Kirsten, who was a provincial player, first-class cricketer himself. He played for Border, a wicket-keeper batsman, and he was the groundsman at Newlands. And Peter invited me every now and again. They had a house on the Newlands cricket ground for the groundsman, and the Kirsten family was there. And he would invite me on weekends. Peter invited me to come and have a barbecue with the family at Newlands when there's no cricket, usually on a Sunday. And I'll never forget the 3 young Kirsten brothers. Peter, obviously the older one, and then Gary, Andrew Kirsten, and Paul. Paul was a wicket-keeper batsman, also played first-class cricket. All of them played first-class cricket, and they would be in the nets there for hours, batting and bowling. And Gary must have been about 12 or 13 then. And I just looked at what a cricketer this guy. He was, you could see there's something special. And then I played cricket till I didn't drink and I take good care of myself. So I had a very long career. I played till well into my 40s. I still played professional cricket in Holland in the end, and first the club cricket in South Africa. So I ended up I played with Peter, and then I played with a young Gary Kirsten club cricket, and we opened the batting together, and we just became really close friends. I don't know, Gary's just got this. He's much more extrovert than Peter. Is very quiet, introverted, if you don't know him well. Gary was just this bundle of energy, and I would throw balls to Gary. After practices, it would be pitch dark and I'm still throwing balls. I'll never forget that. He couldn't stop batting. He just never got enough. And then a few years later, I was director of cricket and head coach at University of Cape Town. And I had some really good players. I mean, Graeme Smith, the ex-South African captain, played for University of Cape Town. Brian Murphy, the Zimbabwe captain, leg spinner, Ryan Tenduskata, the Essex and Holland legend. So Chris Cook, that's captaining Glamorgan now. So we just had this unbelievable team, and I just felt I'm not really, it's a bit out of my league to coach him. So I went, and Gary at that stage hasn't done any coaching. He just stopped playing for South Africa. He played the 101 test, and I thought, Gary, he's played 101 tests, and he's an old. He played for UCT during his student days under Duncan Fletcher. So I met him for a coffee at a little Indian restaurant in. Funnily enough, we went for an Indian restaurant in Rondebosch, where it's the student little area community. And I said to Gary, do you want to help me coach UCT? You can be the head coach. And Gary said, yes, I've never coached before, but can you pay me? And I said, well, I've got a budget of 10,000 Rand a month. Now, that is not money for Gary. And he said, well, yes, I'll come and coach. So Gary coached us for 3 months. He was an instant hit with the team. He was much younger than me, though related, obviously, that respect, Gary, test cricketer. So it worked like a charm. And then in December, we have they call it the SA Universities Cricket Week, where they go to one central venue. All the top universities in South Africa send their cricket team, and it's a week-long tournament. And that year specifically, it was in Durban. So Gary would have gone as the head coach, and I go as like a assistant coach administrator with the team.